Today, I want to bring in a special guest, Carla Gazia Castanita, a mortgage loan officer from Desert Financial who specializes in the Heroes program, 100% financing, no down payment, no PMI or the private mortgage insurance. So we wanted to take the initiative to bring this program to our heroes, to the teachers, the medical workers, and the first responder. So let's welcome Carla to the show. All right, Carla, welcome. So before we dive into the math of the no down payment and the credits for the Hero program, can you tell me a little bit, or tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your journey? How do you end up to be specialized in this Hero program?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Cabrina, for having me. I have been in the bank industry for over 8 years. 6 of those years, I have been doing mortgage. I was doing a lot of that, at least 4.5 years with another bank, a bigger bank. So I did loans for all 50 states.
Wow.
And then I decided that I wanted to be more involved in the community, having, small children and just being out there in their schools in the community. I found out about Desert Financial, so I decided to move to Desert Financial. And they're very community driven. So a few months after I got here, 3 months after I started working with Desert Financial, we actually rolled out this program. Which is, a very good program with the community. And because I already knew a lot of the community where I live, my children's schools, I decided it just happened naturally. I just decided, that this was going to be what I wanted to specialize on. And I did work and see every day, not just teachers, I mean, just everybody in general, right? I had a few people that came and paid their rent at the bank. And, we asked them, hey, have you ever thought about buying? And, it just came out naturally. So like I said, I'm very passionate about helping the community. Um, but yeah, I
Awesome. It's good to hear that, you're not only helping the community, but you're also passionate about it as well. Because a lot of these teachers, firefighters, even nurses, they spend so much time in educations and by the time that they're ready to buy a home, the price has gone up, and then they keep renting and renting. And to run into somebody like you, I think that's a blessing because not only you introduce them to the program, but they also, you're passionate to guide them through the process. And like an agent like me, I always search for a special program to not only help my buyers, but also to the community. Like, what can I benefit the community? And I know you do speak Spanish as well, right?
Yeah, so I'm fluent in Spanish. I do speak it, read it, and write it. So a lot of my members, at least half of my members that I help, just because based on where I am, and I have 8 branches, so I'm all over. But half of my branches are in Phoenix as well. So a lot of the members that I help with, they do speak Spanish. So I am very passionate about helping, helping everybody, but including minorities and, making sure that they have the help that maybe like my parents or other people's parents didn't have. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
something also that I'm very passionate about.
Yes. So, like we speak another language is awesome, but guiding them, when they go purchase a home and not knowing the language and reading the documents and thing, having somebody to back them up is very helpful in explaining in their own language so they can understand. So for the Spanish agent out there, if you haven't get in touch with Carla, watch until the end so you can get her contact info, okay? Because real estate agents is very competitive, but it's a friendly environment because we always wanted to share, especially such a good program like this, where we can help the community, we can help the hero. But then, this program is only specialized for first-time home buyer, right? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it is specialized only on first-time home buyers, but if you there's a lot of people that have bought homes in the past and they sold or unfortunately they might have lost their home, right? And they thought that they never would have the possibility of buying again or just didn't know that they would be considered first-time home buyers. So anybody that hasn't been in a title of a property, in 3 years is considered a first-time home buyer.
That's very good to know. Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
sometimes I think that, oh my God, this is only buying the house for the first time.
Mhm. Yeah, so as far as that, like that's the main one. It is based off, as well. There's other things that are included. But for example, if we have somebody that is a first-time home buyer and somebody else that's not a first-time home buyer, but they plan to sell their other home or it will be passed down to somebody else, then they could both qualify for that program as well for the community heroes. So there is ways around it. So I will definitely, help anybody to, be able to qualify for the program. And if they don't qualify at the moment, we will create a pathway as well.
Yes. And with your partnership, I want to give a shout out to you. Working for a bank, normally from 8 to 5, that's it. You're done. You get a hold of nobody. But with Carla, like you go above and beyond, even like after hour, you're still responding to my messages, my call. Because, sometimes when we show homes and we're ready to put in an offer, but we do have a question, we wanted to get
Yeah.
the guidance from the lender. How can we set up this transactions from the begin to finish in our purchase contract so we can get it closed without stressing out the first time home buyer because they have many different fear, different anxiety. So I really appreciate you always go above and beyond, answer your phones and respond to my messages even after hours.
Yeah, no, thank you. Definitely. I understand, I understand how it is, especially for this specific program. We have to think they're community heroes, right? They
Yeah.
work the 9 to 5. So they work the Monday to Friday. Sometimes they even work the weekend. So this program like this, we have to be able to be as lenders, we have to be able to be flexible for them, right? Because they're taking care of us in a
Yes.
way. So if it's 7, 8 o'clock and I'm able to do it, I'm gonna take the call. If I'm not able to take a call or something, I will reply in a message and email, try to give you a quick answer, tell you, hey, I'll call you, I will get back to you though. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it definitely the hero program is like a teamwork, right? They serving our
Yes.
community, we serve it back to them. But we can't forget the people that behind the scene as well. What about like the bus driver, the janitors, like other people that is doesn't have this, the special titles, are those
Yeah.
people also qualify for the program as well?
Yeah, they are qualified. So, the way that we define or qualify a community hero, is basically on the name of who writes their paycheck, right? So anybody that works for a school district, anybody that works for a college, a university, a hospital, a clinic, that works for the state, as long as they're hired through the not through a third party agency but through the school, through the hospital, through the state directly, then they qualify for as a community hero. It doesn't matter what they do specifically. So yes, it could be the bus driver, it could be a correctional officer, it could be a janitor. It doesn't matter what their title is. We look more into who writes the check for them, right?
And I've been in real estate for 9 years now, and I'm not afraid to say I'm a salesperson. So, with such a good information and knowledge like this, I will hope that the audience will come back to you because, Desert Financial, it's a big corporations as well. But then, it come down to the sales rep, right? Like us,
Yeah.
who deliver the value, who deliver the information. So I'm hoping that to deliver this informations that supported you and your role that you're in right now. So hopefully that the people who want to reach out directly to you, not the big corporate, you know, the big corporate Desert Financial, because you never know
Yeah,
what sales rep you're gonna get. So I can't
that
wait
is true.
that they will be on.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I will say, we are a credit union, so we are non-for-profit. So the credit union is really great, and all of the reps are great as well. But of course, I would love to, we partner, we've worked together, me and you, Cabrina. So the type of work that we've done together. So yes, I definitely reach out to me and I would do the best to help everybody.
Yes, that's awesome. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about geared toward the location, right? Because
Mhm.
this program at Desert Financial in Arizona. So what if the person who want to sell their home here, because I also help sellers as well, right? They want to
Mhm.
sell the home here and they want to purchase another home out of state. Is that also qualify as well? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I can definitely explain. So right now we are only able to have this program and do loans in Arizona. It can be anywhere in Arizona, so it doesn't matter where, as long as it's state of Arizona. I know that we had the conversations of possibly expanding and then what it would look like for us to expand to other states, but we don't have that just yet. So right now our focus is Arizona. However, on the other side, if there is anybody that's wanting to relocate to Arizona, then that's when it would work, right? So anybody that lives in another state and they are moving over here for work or they work remote and they just want to come and live in Arizona, then we can definitely do this program.
That's very nice. Yeah. So what about credit score? Can you touch base a little bit about that? Because sometimes first time home buyer, they always worry about that. And
Mhm.
sometimes they also worry about approaching a loan officer and then they pour their credit and it affect their credits and this and that. I think the educations in the credit part need to be expand a little bit. And that's something I'm gonna do another video later. But as yours with your specialty, can you educate the first time home buyer a little bit about the credit and what can they can qualify?
Yeah, so the minimum credit qualification is a 680. I can explain how we do it. So we don't average the credit scores. We pull all three credits from the credit bureaus and we just get the middle number. So the middle number has to be a 680. If it's multiple buyers, then it will be the lower middle number out of the two.
Mm,
But if they're not at the 680, we will create a pathway so that when they are there and they do qualify, we can do that. Because there has been times that have gotten somebody at a 679, and we just have to do a little bit of more work. So as soon as I pull credit, what I like to do is I will download and I will share with them the credit report and I will go over everything because a lot of those times, our credit reports that we do for mortgage are way different than even the other reports that they might have access to. Ours for mortgage has a history of everything, their whole credit history from when they first got their first credit card, first auto loan to now. So there is a lot of the times that they are not aware that things are there that shouldn't be there. So we do go over them, we see what they don't recognize, and we create a pathway of what we need to do. Is it, what is the issue and what's hurting the credit? And we work a time. So I've had buyers that I've worked with for over a year until we got to where we needed. There's some that haven't been there. It only took 2 months. Some things that I ran into this too is not just no not just not having a 680 but not having credit. So with this program you do have to have established credit. So I had people that never had credit, so working with them and educating them of how to build credit, because building credit doesn't take as long as people may think.
mm,
So I have some buyers that didn't have any credit and within 2 months they established credit and we were able to do this. So obviously everybody is different, but just because they don't qualify right now doesn't mean they will never qualify. And I will take the time with them. I don't call myself a credit expert, but I've been doing this for quite some time and I've been able to help a lot of people that I know the patterns and what we can do to get where we need them to be.
yeah. Also that tie into my own job as well as a real estate agent, right? Sometimes I feel like a realtor because there's so many of us. Sometimes it
Mhm.
get underrated. But if you work with the right real estate agents, we are the source of the source, right? Like before we get
Mhm.
you to the pre-approval table, we want to make sure we understand your story and your credit and where it needs to be. So if people listening out there that thinking about purchasing a home, maybe having a conversation with your agents on this is what I'm planning to do. And the agent should be able to draft a plan for you on like whether talk to a lender or do your credit check, because by the time you find your dream homes and you don't have no credit, there's nothing we can do at that point. It doesn't matter how, like, how much follower or how much famous that person is. There's no way
Yeah,
to get you into the home. So, having that conversation right at the beginning, it's very crucial. Yeah.
I agree.
I do want to circle back, Carla. I forgot to ask, I'm the vice president for the Filipino Chamber of Commerce right now, and we have quite a bit of people who is nurses, but they don't work for hospital. They work for a living assistant, like a special cares and things like that. How do we handle those people, like, those clients who not really working for the hospital, but working for like maybe smaller business owner? Are those is also considered heroes as well?
Yeah, so there are considered heroes. Again, we'll go back to looking and see, right? Who is it, a living assistant home? Like, what are the entitles of, like, the who writes their check? Is it just like a doctor, or so I won't say, I'm never gonna say, I'm not the loan officer to tell you no, right? I'm always gonna find a way. So I will say it's definitely worth a try. So if they have questions, or if you have one by one specifics, I would say let's connect.
Mhm.
Let's, find out a little bit more and see. But I'm never gonna say no, they don't qualify. Anybody that we may think that does qualify, that's already a chance to take it, up to upper management and say, hey, they are a nurse. They do have this degree. They do, they might not work for a hospital, but they might work for, that clinic. They might, or work for that nursing assistant home. So I know that we've done some. It
Mhm.
is a case by case, but I will always be the one that I will vouch for you, and I will bring it and, try to see, because there is a gray area for sure. But
Mhm.
I will bring it up to upper management and explain the case, because, like I said, as for Desert Financial, we are for our members, for our community. So we'll try very hard to help everybody that can qualify.
Yes, and I can see that, with the past experience and even the current experience, right? Like I can see like how passionate Desert Financial has helping the community, not only just for the profit, but they wanted to like help the community, help people get into a home, because getting into a home is scary. It's the biggest investment. It's expensive, and especially the price increase is also changing the cash to close increase. So now that's take me into the mortgage insurance, right? In
Mhm.
the traditional conventional loans and other type of loan, minimum down payments for that to avoid the private mortgage insurance is 20%. But in your case, we don't even have that. So can you explain a little bit? Because the audience will be like, this is unbelievable. What's the catch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this program is 100% financing program, meaning that there's no down payment needed. It is a conventional loan as well. It is a portfolio loan, which means it will stay with Desert Financial. We will not sell off your loan, so we will service it. Part of that as well is that, like you mentioned, when you put less than 20% down, you do need mortgage insurance or PMI. But with this program, we are waiving it, right? So what that means in savings, let's say, and in mortgage insurance or PMI is based off your credit history, what your credit is, what your debt to income is, and how much, the price of the home. But because of that, if your credit is under 700, PMI or mortgage insurance will be minimum 500 to $800 a month just of mortgage insurance on a
Mhm.
conventional loan.
Mhm.
Once you approach like 730, then maybe it's 250 to $300 in savings month to month. So it is a huge difference. You as an agent, you know what the power or the purchase power is if you had an extra $500 each
Mhm.
month. So with not having that mortgage insurance or PMI, the buyer is saving minimum $300 to $500 a month. So
Mhm.
maybe instead of having a $2,800 payment a month, they're only having a $2,300 payment, instead of a $2,600, they're having a $2,300 because, with the home, it's not just your payment, it's also your utilities, it's also your food, it's also your other everyday expenses. So that's what's so big about not having that PMI. And something that I like to do, which I find it a little bit fun, whenever I do have these clients, I still because we work with the 6 mortgage insurance companies that there is in Arizona, and I would run them numbers just for fun, and I'm like, hey, look, because of this program, like if you didn't have this program, this is how much you would have to pay. Like this is how much you're saving. And then I multiply it, and it's minimum between, the least one I've seen is 30,000. So they're saving between 30 to 50 to even 80,000 over the life of the loan, but not by not having PMI. So I do or no PMI, no mortgage insurance. So it's very huge.
Especially in today's market and the economy, that's a huge saving for some family, especially, the family who already have kids, like
Yes.
girls, they have kids, the daycares, the cost. Like I have a child myself. I know how expensive that can be.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's just, the more you save, the better, right? And the better for everybody as well. Because like I said, if you don't, if your monthly payment is less, then maybe you could qualify for something bigger, nicer, or, just depending on another area that you want to look into as well. So that's when it becomes a huge factor.
Yeah, that totally. So yeah, so it's for the people who listen, this is not a down payment assistance. This is 100%
No.
finance program. So for that, what about the closing costs? Because is there a catch in the closing costs? Because I would have clients will be like, hey, what if they waive the down payment, but then they increase on the closing costs? So can you talk a little bit about the closing costs?
Yeah, so with the closing costs and with this program, so even though this is a portfolio again program, meaning that's a program that's only available through Desert Financial, we
Mhm.
do follow a lot of the guidelines from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which are the investors. So within those guidelines, they only allow 3% in concessions for this program, and that 3% can come from the agent, it can come from the seller, it can come from the builder. And that's it. It does not allow for any gifts. The only reason why it doesn't allow for gifts in this program is because it's a no down payment program. So
Mm.
that's like the only catch. As far as the other things, our closing costs are not very high here. So what we do with the rest, if the buyer is able to get that 3%, what we end up doing with the rest of that money is getting a lower rate for them, buying down the rate to get them a lower rate and a lower monthly payment overall.
Hmm. Perfect. Yeah. No, that's good to hear. What about the, there's some program they require the person to live there 3 years minimum or 5 years before they can do anything, resell the home or move on to the next property. Is there any restrictions like that?
There's not specific restrictions on how long you have to live in the property, as well as any prepaid penalties. So if they win the lottery or anything like that, and they want to pay fully off, then they're able to do it. But there's really no restrictions on how long they have to live in the property or sell. But as you yourself know, depending for primary, how soon you sell, there's other things. So I would talk to your agent
Mhm.
about, if you sell before 2 years, your primary, how is that gonna look like and how is that gonna affect you? From the lending side, there's no issues or restrictions. But I'm sure there's others. And you can, since you do represent sellers as well, you can advise and give them more information on the how it affects them if they sell before a certain amount of time and all of that, or if
Yes.
it does. I'm
Yes.
not an expert on that side, so I'll just speak on the lender side. There's no issues.
Okay, yeah. No, we do consultations and we go through all that. But sometimes the type of loan that they have on the existing property when they want to sell, there's
Mhm.
certain down payment assistance that requests them to stay there for 3 years before they can rent it. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted to get into.
Yeah, yeah, there's none of that. So that is not an issue. There's no restrictions. Another big thing here is that there is no area medium income limits for this program. So a
Oh,
lot of the assistance that there is for first time home buyers, there's a cap and they're like, you make too much money.
mm,
You can't qualify with this program. That's not an issue. The more the merrier. And that's how
right.
it should be, right? So yeah, there is no cap on the medium income limit. Of course, we look at your debt to income, your ratios, but there's no issue if they make above a certain amount of money too for this
Yeah.
program.
So and we touched base a little bit about a different program for doctors, right? Like some doctor they make like $500,000, but they also owe $500,000 in student loans. So we also have special program for that as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We have a doctor's program where we don't consider their student loans into the ratios of their debt to income. So whether they have whatever amount they have in student loans, we will not count that against their debt to income. It does have also if they, want to put 10% down, we will waive the rest of the 10% of PMI, or if they wanted to do the community heroes because they don't want to put any money, then they do qualify. Another big thing about this program that it's for active and retired. So I do have some retired, teachers retired from the state, retired state workers who just rented and they never wanted to buy, and now that they're retired they're ready to settle down and they qualify for this program. Still, if they retire from that job or they work that job at some point and they get pension, they still qualify for this program, as well as veterans as well, military active and retired as well.
Okay. So, you mentioned about retired heroes. That takes me
Mhm.
to another question that just popped up in my mind. What if they move into like a 55 plus community? Is there restrictions for that?
There's no restrictions on that. I mean, even on where it is, and I've done a few in
Yeah.
55 plus. So yeah, there's no restrictions on that whatsoever either.
That's awesome. What about like condos and townhouse?
Okay, that's an amazing question. So for this program, single family, townhomes, and condominiums. That's the only thing that we can do right now. So not any multi-unit duplex or manufactured housing for right now. But condos, townhomes, and single family homes are perfectly fine.
Yeah. So for investor out there, if you want to invest a program, I have another video for you.
I mean, we do have really good investment also, like for us, for a one unit investment property, 15% down only.
Very nice. Yeah.
So I know most, it's like 25%.
Yeah.
So
To
we
bring
do
you
have
back
some good
for,
ones.
yeah, we have to bring you back for a different subject on that one because I'm sure
Yes.
that one a lot of people also curious because right now beside the first time home buyer there's also reinvestor, like people want
Mhm.
to invest into the real estates and different things. But yeah, thank you for allowing me to partner with you. And with this partnership, I also want to contribute it to the Hero program as well. So if anybody reach out to me and we're using this program, 20% of my paycheck will go toward your closing costs to help you with the closing costs and other things. But with the market right now, we are in the buyer market. So I might be able to negotiate even way more beyond that. So if you have a dreams of home ownership, I think you should reach out. That's the first step. Reach out to me, reach out to your agent, share this video, have the conversation about this because the dreams of owning a home might be closer than what you think. The first time is scary because this is might be the biggest investment they have ever made. Maybe the car costs 100,000, but the home is like you know so just to make the process not only stress free but it's also fun and then be available.
Yes.
and to guide them. I think, we, at the end of the day, it's about the value we bring back to the community, right? Because the transactions is not only ending when you pass the key, that's when it's begin. Because
Ours, yeah.
they also have other question about different things. So being available, I feel like you also make yourself very available for your agents as well. So I thank you for you to support the community and support our agents as well.
Definitely, thank you. And you touched a very good point about, the process just starts when they get the keys to their house. And that's what I mean with just loving, the credit union where I work at, because we have an amazing mortgage servicing department that is able to help them with everything. Like when you do buy a house, at the end of the year, you'll have an escrow analysis. And a lot of people are like, what is that, right? Our mortgage servicing will call all our members and explain, what the escrow analysis is, explain, how to set up the payments, what to do. And that's what's so big about us is that we're not gonna sell, we're not gonna sell your loan,
Mhm.
right? So you're gonna be able to know where to go, where to come in, get your answers from me, from any of, the tellers, the bankers, our mortgage and servicing. Everything is done in house for us. So you will have direct access and you don't have to worry about, your mortgage going somewhere else and not knowing who to come to.
Yeah. So that's why it's very important to get to know the people at the very beginning of the step, because they might be the one who take care of the whole process toward the end, because it's 30 years to pay it off, right?
And
So
we don't have prepaid penalties. So if they want to pay it up sooner, they definitely can.
yeah, but so for the people who find this video valuable and want to reach out to you, how can they contact you or connect with you?
Yeah, so we can definitely add all my information here, but they can contact me through email. They can contact me directly through my cell phone. So I'm not sure if you want to just add it here at the bottom, but with everything. But yeah, I mean, they can contact me anytime if I can't get to them right away because I am very, customer facing. So sometimes I do have people, in front of me and I have already pre-scheduled appointments, but I will always get back to them.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Carla, for your time, and I really appreciate all the valuable information that you share.
Thank you so much for having me, Cabrina. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be able to help more people together.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.